to make eye contact when we speak to the camera, Hannah. That would be a good start, wouldn't it? Hello and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to my Top Trumps TBR Volume 2, second year. We're very proud of ourselves. So, okay, this time last year, I decided it would be a great idea to jump on the booktube bandwagon, and I've never looked back. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a good year. But my first proper booktube video was a TBR game that I invented out of sheer laziness. Are you going to squeak the entire time with it? Are you going to sit on the most annoying part of my bed that is definitely broken? That's the bit you want to sit on? Thanks, bud. This is fun. He's trying to get into this box. This cat is trying to get into this tiny box. It's not going to happen, bud. I'm sorry. You're too big for that box. You gonna sit? No, you can't get in. Can I film my video, please? I know we're both out of practice, but you are smarter than that. You're doing this just to mess with me. I know this. You right there, bud? You itchy, huh? You gonna jump onto the bookcase? You thinking about it? So I created a TBR game out of sheer laziness because I didn't want to put a massive board together, and I didn't want to get a dartboard out every month, and I didn't want to make a wheel because I am lazy. That's the only reason. They look like such fun videos, but it's a lot of work and I'm not about that. So I decided I was going to make some Top Trumps cards, which has worked really well for me, except I was looking at some statistics. I was looking at my statistics the other day, and turns out I am less likely to read a book if it's from my Top Trumps TBR pack than I am just generally. We have made some more cards. So I have 100 new Top Trumps cards. Originally I wasn't going to give myself punishments because I was only going to read 60 books in the year, and I thought that would be cruel, and I just didn't believe in myself. I needed to believe in myself, whereas this time I know that it's down to me, and actually I am more than capable of reading those books, and therefore wildcards have been instigated. So on the back of each one of these wildcards is a punishment read, and it could be anything from read a book from an author you've completely dismissed to read a celebrity autobiography, because we all know how thrilling those are. So yeah, there are 13 in here. I'm hoping that I won't have to reuse any of them. I'm hoping I won't have to use any of them. I hope that I stick to my actual TBR for a change. Wouldn't that be novel? That pun was unintended. So we have those. I'm not going to give myself any wild cards this month because I've done really well for Gothtober and it's the first month, but there is also one wild card which is a reprieve. There is one wild card in here, the 13th card, which says you do not have to read a wild card this month, because I like to give myself a little loophole. That's what that is. So we have the addition of wild cards. The other addition is I will now be picking 5 cards a month rather than 4, because I have... Rude. I will now be picking 5 cards instead of 4 a month because I've added the year that it was published as well, because I got on my soapbox the other day and found an article that was like 40 books you should read during lockdown, and they were all classics. There wasn't a single book written from the last 10 years. So I was like, guys, books being published every day. I don't know if you know this. You should read them. So I'm going to be adding the year they were published and trying to read books that are published more recently than ones in the previous, because I mean, some of them are out of print anyway. It just so happens that I own a copy. But yes, I want to be reading more current reads as well as random. There are some really random books in here that I've had on my Goodreads TBR since I started my Goodreads TBR in 2014. It's a mix. But yeah, so instead of having the 4, I'll go through the other categories as well. So we will have year, still got the author, so it's an author that I haven't read before is the one that I picked. Number of pages, we go for the highest number of pages to challenge myself. Goodreads rating gets the highest Goodreads rating, and cover art. Now cover art, again, I did originally plan to kind of get everyone's involvement and do what we did last time where everyone votes on it, but that was such a ball ache last time that again I just got 2 of my good friends and we just narrowed it down out of 3 and kind of averaged it out. So some of these are really harsh because we have very different tastes in what makes a good front cover, but it's completely subjective. So if I'm like shitting on your favourite cover, I'm really sorry. Or if it's your book and I'm shitting on your cover, it's no offence meant. It's just a taste thing. So anyway. Oh yeah, and the last thing is I want to be adding 1 book. If, for example, I pick 3 books that I don't currently own, then I will be picking a 6th book, because a couple of times I have pulled out loads of of books that I don't currently own and then I haven't been able to find them in my library or on Scribd or on Audible or whatever it is, or they've just been really expensive as ebooks, then I'll pick out one at random, or the first one at random that I actually own, which is why some of them have little colours on them. The green is that I own them, and then the pink is that it's an author that I've read before. And then maybe I can avoid doing a wild card. We shall see. We have 100 new cards. Wild cards are there. So yeah, so this month I am doing Believeathon, but what I'll do is we will pick out my top trumps TBR, and then I will tell you which books I'm reading for Believeathon, because I'm really excited. I really enjoyed the last 3 middle grades that I read. I'm getting really into middle grades, and Gavin's amazing, so I want to support that as well. So let's do top trumps TBR, and then we'll get to that bit. So let's give them a shuffle, because they have not had a shuffle since I made them. That was a rubbish shuffle, if you can see that. Croupier, is it Croupier? Yeah, Croupier. I'm not one of those. The first one is Felix Ever After, which is 2020, so we're not going to get anything newer than that because it's 2020. So I will be reading Felix Ever... Are all the motorbikes out today? Anyway, Felix Ever After is the first one. I don't know much about this. I just know that it's Case and Calendar, and I've heard really good things. So that's the first one. The second one is author, so we're looking for an author I've not read before. The first one is Dean Atta, who I haven't read before, so again, that makes that nice and easy. I will be reading The Black Flamingo. So that's 2 now. If I get a third without a book that I own, then I get to pick another one that I do own. That'd be great. So the next one is we're picking the book with the highest number of pages. The first one is The Night Country, which is 368, and the second one is The Bells, which is 440, and because that is 3 that I don't own, I will be adding another one at the end. Yeah, I'll be adding another one at the end, which is one that I do own, in hopes to avoid a wild card. Next is Goodreads Rating. So we have I Think I Might Love You, which is 4.58, and Hollow Pike, which is 3.72. So I Think I Might Love You is another one that I don't own. This is going really well, guys. And then the last one is cover art. So we have The Sun Is Also a Star, which is 2.5, and then Song of Blood and Stone, which is 3.5, and another one that I don't own. I'm so glad I'm not on a book buying ban anymore, because if I were, this would make my life super difficult. So we're going to do another shuffle, and then I'm just going to keep pulling out until I find a card that I own. Oh, okay, there we go. First one is No Country for Old Men by Cormac Mccarthy. So I don't know very much about No Country for Old Men, other than that it was turned into a film that people seem to love, and it's a book that people seem to love. I found this for £1.50 in a charity shop and thought I really should read some Cormac Mccarthy, because people keep telling me that I should. And that's literally all I know about that one. And as for the rest, like I said, I don't own them. I don't know much about them. This is what I know. Okay, so I know that Song of Blood and Stone is a fantasy. I know that I Think I Might Love You is a romance. I know that The Bells is meant to be like The Selection, but better, which I hope it is, because I hated The Selection. I know that The Black Flamingo and Felix Ever After are meant to be incredible. So I'm very excited for those, but other than that, I don't know a lot about them. And it's nice to kind of go into a month where you're like, okay, I have some idea, but for the most part I have no expectations, because those tend to be the books that I love the most. I think sometimes if you go in with really high expectations, which I do because I'm very optimistic all of the time, then it can be tricky to actually find a book that you really love. So I suspect there will be some 5-star ratings in this bunch. Okay, so the Believeathon is a mystery-based readathon this year. There's a different theme to each one, I think, and one of them was like a wintry fantasy one where you had to follow a map, and this one has a blueprint of a house and you have to like solve the mystery and you have to collect different clues. I don't know, I can't remember if Gavin said you were allowed to double up, but I am going to double up because there are a lot of prompts. So I'm not going to double up for every single one, but for the ones that I am, I will let you know. Do you want to just sit there? Is that better? You're such a good boy. Okay, so the first 2 prompts is a mystery and an author new to you. I will be reading The Secret of Nightingale Wood by Lucy Strange. This did come up in my Top Trumps TBR a while ago, but I just never got round to it. But actually it's perfect because it's a middle grade that I bought during my independent book tour last year. I've heard really good things about Lucy Strange, and she's just had a new book set at a lighthouse that's just come out, which I know Gavin was really excited for. So I'm excited to get to this one. Essentially it's a historical fiction with a little bit of mystery. I think it's meant to be a kind of Secret Garden style mystery, so I'm quite intrigued by that one, and the front cover is stunning. I currently don't have a middle grade for Author of Different Culture, just because I couldn't find the one that I wanted, but I'm hoping to read either Arusha or something with Hindu mythology. So keep your eye out for that, because I want to find, if you have a great recommendation for me, I'd really appreciate it. When I was in Waterstones the other day, I couldn't find, they just didn't have it, they'd sold out. So I'm hoping that I can read something Hindu based for all through a different culture, because I think that'd be really exciting. For audiobook, I'm going to be doing Tunnel of Bones, which also counts as the features ghost book. I wasn't that fussed with the first Cassidy Blake book, but it was fun and it seemed an easy read and it ticked off both those prompts nicely, and I didn't hate it, and maybe I'll enjoy the second one more. It was just a nice easy way to tick off those middle grades, so that's great. For a supernatural element, I will be picking up Keeper of the Lost Cities. I have seen so many people raving about this. I think there's like 5 or 6 books out now. It's meant to be like the next big Harry Potter-y type book. It looks really fun. I've heard really great things, but that's really all I know about it. If you can remember way back when, I actually had Alice in Wonderland in my last Believeathon TBR for... It wasn't Alternate World, which is what this one is. This is for the Alternate World prompt, but it was something related to falling down something to a magical world or something strange. But I'm going to try and read it this time, because I didn't actually get to it last time, but I have this really beautiful copy covered in flamingos, and I feel like I really should give it the time of day. I haven't read this in years. I taught it during my training year, so that would have been 6 years ago, which is crazy. I need to pick that up again, and hopefully we'll actually get to this one this time. So the next one is Dangerous Setting. I want to read Mosquito Land by David Arnold. David Arnold is a fantastic author who created Skellig? Was it Skellig? I want to say that it was, but it doesn't say in this book, because why would you want the list of all his other books? Nope, can't remember. I think it is Skellig. Anyway, David Arnold has written some great children's books, and they always make you cry. They're always a little bit dangerous, and that is exactly what this is. This is about a young girl who I think runs away or tries to find her mom and escapes. But apparently there's an assortment of quirky characters, so this also could work for colourful cast of characters, but I have another book for that one. But yeah, so that is my Dangerous Setting one. I've had this on my shelves. This is probably the oldest book from this collection on my shelves, so I need to crack on with this one, because it's pretty and it deserves the time of day. So features a prominent villain. I'm going for Wizards of Once, because again, I keep hearing people talk about this. I've heard some really fantastic things. Gavin did recommend that I listen to this as an audiobook, and I may well read the audiobook alongside it, because it is chunky and she is a slow reader. Even though these are for kids, I'm hedging my bets that I probably won't finish all of these, which would be a shame because they look fantastic. But I am a slow reader, so we need to be sensible. But apparently it's voiced by David Tennant, and that is something that I want to hear because it sounds fantastic. But I know that the villain is a big bad, and therefore I take that prompt. Plus, shiny covers. Always for the win. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. So then the two that are pretty cover and or folktale, I actually have 2 for each. So they kind of cover both, so I'll talk about them. I've got Pinch of Magic, and I've also got Never Tell. These are 2 that have been read, I think, during the book club that Gavin and JD Ray Reads do. They are both stunning. I think they're both Russian inspired actually, but I might be making that up for Pinch of Magic. I might have just completely made that up, but I know that Never Tell is definitely Russian inspired because it says Russian on the back. And this is essentially about Lena and one of her friends escape a prison type place and are chased by wolves and the big bad. But I'm absolutely in love with this front cover. I think it's stunning, and obviously Pinch of Magic is a well-worn favourite of people that read middle grade books. So again, stunning, based on folk tales. I think they're both going to be great, and they're not as big as some of the other books that I have on my TBR. So. Then we have Colourful Cast of Characters, which is really tricky to say when you try and say it really quickly. Colourful Cast of Characters. I've never sounded so pretentious in all my life, but Colourful Cast of Characters. I have gone with Rick Riordan's The Trials of Apollo. I read the Percy Jackson series when I was a teen, and I don't really want to reread them because I've reread so many of my faves recently and been really disappointed. So I'm hoping, because I didn't actually read The Trials of Apollo, and I can catch up on them now. I don't think they're that old, but I know there's like 6 of them, that I can enjoy his style of writing again without second guessing every little thing that he's written, because I find that sometimes when I reread things that I've already read, I end up nitpicking, and I don't want to do that because I'm reading for pleasure. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So it's the first in the Trials of Apollo series, The Hidden Oracle, and another shiny one. We love that. And then the last book on my TBR is a book that was published in 2020. I've gone for The Good Hawk. This is a book that I pre-ordered because I follow Joseph Elliott on Twitter, and I've kind of been following him pretty much since he started tweeting. And yeah, I wanted to support him, so I pre-ordered. I don't actually know what the book's about, but I know that it's a middle grade, and it's been really well received, so I'm really happy for him. I think it's set in like an alternate Scotland, so this could also work for alternate worlds if I just don't read Alice in Wonderland again. I'm not gonna lie, part of me was tempted to try and find a way to scream Vampirates into this readathon as well, because it doesn't appear that I'm going to be reading it for Gothtober now. I've got 3 days left, so it's probably not going to happen. I'm sorry that I've not made a lot of eye contact with the camera. I am so out of practice with this, and I find it really hard not to be self-conscious when I'm just sat here staring at a camera. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm really intrigued to see what everyone's Believeathon TBRs are, and wish me luck not getting the wildcards, because it's a lot. Like, I've got so many books in that list today that I don't own, so yeah, wish me luck. She's gonna need it. I don't want to read bad books. And another prompt is a book that makes you cry, and we're trying to avoid that. We're trying not to cry. 2020 was going to be the year I didn't cry, but obviously then the pandemic happened and all the other stuff, and I don't want to get into it. And now we do that thing where I balance a whole bunch of books to take a selfie. Don't know why I felt the need to sing, but she did. Do you have to sit on my things? Do you? Do you have to sit on my things? Try sitting on my lap. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Why would we do that? Who would want that? Who would want to sit on my very comfortable lap? Are you sleepy, bud? Are you sleepy? You worn out? It's been a long day, hasn't it? It's been a long day. It's 10 AM. It's been a long day. Have a nice day.